was so cold. So I was really curious. I wanted to get dressed and try to get out before the sun went down, but I didn't really succeed. It's kind of going down. I really was curious how I would feel with 5 hours of sleep, and I could just fall down. I have no strength. You know what happens? Here's how things can get mistaken for other things. Here's how we can misdiagnose things too. So when I was brain injured from my epidural years ago, when my daughter was born, it was all lied about and gaslit. We were gaslit out of there. We were lied to. You know, these are smart people, right? Hang on. They know who they're dealing with. They know how educated you are. They can see how afraid you are. They can see, why is this guy's gate open? They can see, they know who you are. They know what you do for a living. They know how educated you are. They know how smart you are. Hang on. Basically what I'm trying to say is they know who they can gaslight. And we were 100% gaslighted, and I was in a complete state of shock and trauma. And I was brain injured from the epidural. I didn't know it, but I was injured. My husband looked like he was going to drop dead from a heart attack. I was more worried about him because I thought whatever's going on wrong with me, the doctors are going to resolve it or fix it. And anyways, so it was a flurry of activity, 100% gaslighted. I went home and started to lose sensation. I probably started to lose sensation right away. I don't know. And I lost feeling from the neck, the neck, why can't I talk? The neck to my toes. I lost sensation. I lost most of the sensation in my body, my whole body, for about 2 years. My husband and I thought that I was dying. Looking back, I really, Mom was the only one who lived in town at the time. I have 3 sisters, 2 brothers. Looking back, I find it really curious how my husband and I were so scared. I'm carrying my little cart, my grocery cart. It's awkward, and the hair is going in my face. My husband and I silently together really believed I was dying from something. We couldn't understand what was happening. We believed I was dying from some, rare autoimmune disease or something. And what I believe now happened. Well, okay, so when I started researching like crazy 7 years ago, what I believed was that I was injured from the epidural, and I had full body neuropathy for a couple of years. But now I wasn't sure about that. And then a doctor enlightened me, and she said, you probably had a brain bleed. And that sounds right. This is a specialist who knows about brain bleeds. And then I read, so these brain bleeds can be mistaken for neuropathy. But also, okay, so that makes total sense. So it was a brain bleed, and I thought it was neuropathy because the symptoms are the same. But also, I believe it maybe caused my neuropathy, or caused my Chiari. Epidurals, we know now there are a couple neurosurgeons on the internet that are admitting that yes, epidurals can cause a Chiari malformation with people with weak connective tissue, people with EDS or connective tissue diseases. And so the Chiari could have been caused by the epidural. But now, when I was benzo injured, and immediately one main symptom, one thing that started right away is like, bang, when this benzo withdrawal started 7 years ago. No, I'm 7 years off. 2018. When it started, it was like someone was pulling me hard to the ground, pulling down on me, and my arms and legs, it's like I couldn't carry a purse anymore. Carrying my own body is like I'm carrying an added 500 pounds. It's like I stopped carrying a purse right away. I started trying to find the lightest backpack to put a few groceries in. Clothing. The clothing I choose, like the clothes I'm wearing right now, is so heavy. Like, it's like my coat weighs 50 pounds. And my arms and legs are like dead weight. My arms and legs are like 100 pounds each. And see, you can mistake that for neuropathy. And I've been diagnosed with neuropathy. Peripheral neuropathy, small fiber. And the diagnosing continues because we're going to look into motor neuropathy. But what I believe is happening is this is the neuropathies from Chiari malformation. When I was hit with when I started weaning off these drugs, all the terrible, weird things that were happening to me that were not happening to other people, like pseudobulbar affect and this constant 500 pounds crushing me and not being able to carry a purse and my phone weighs 20 pounds. I think this is the Chiari. So I had 5 hours of sleep last night, and it's like, oh, yay. I wonder what, I really have no idea what it's going to be like when I get dressed and try to get outside. And you know what? I could just collapse. It's like the clothing I'm wearing it feels like it weighs 200 pounds. My arms and legs are 100 pounds each. The snow isn't here yet. And the colder it gets, the heavier I'm going to have to dress. And it's just unbearable. I am drowning. So I'm just going to go see if something's on sale at the grocery store. I wanted to get some ginger and make some tea. I'm thrilled to have clean hair today. It's a treat to have clean hair when you're this sick. Awful having disgusting hair, isn't it? When you don't feel well and on top of all that your hair feels disgusting. It's just it sucks to not be well, So, when I moved, see, we don't know this. No one teaches us this. Like, I've learned more in the past, few years than I have in my entire life. Nobody teaches you this, and they should, as far as medical. Your nervous system, the nervous system that is involved in disease, right? All these diseases, these nervous system diseases, like Parkinson's and MS and all these Chiari and all these diseases, neuropathy, that involve the nervous system. It's the same nervous system as anxiety, as stress, as, grief, as trauma, PTSD. It's the same nervous system. So that's why it's so easy for doctors to misdiagnose your diseases as anxiety or PTSD, right? That's why, because they can present the same types of symptoms. And when my husband died, and we moved to this house 20 years ago, I immediately noticed, like, the grief with that death just about killed me. That death almost took my life. If I didn't have a child, I would have left to be with him. I was just destroyed by that. The grief in that and the crying and now I'm thinking today how that may have affected my nervous system. And when we moved to that house, I noticed that a loss of physical strength, and not in the legs, but, well, I had a loss of strength with that epidural 30 years ago, that I never regained that kind of strength. But when my husband died 20 years ago, I'm wondering, like, I've noticed, like, I was still working hard in the house, outside the house, working hard, but I really noticed a loss of strength in regards to, like, our cutlery felt too heavy, and the dishes, the glass dishes, the Corelle dishes were too heavy. How many minutes do I have here? Can't see, hang on. All of a sudden, and the pots and pans are all too heavy, and the vacuum cleaner's too heavy. And hang on, I'm trying to cross the street here. Nobody's being nice about it. The vacuum cleaner is way too heavy for me to manage. And I'm gonna bully myself across the street here. Thanks. And the yard tools are too heavy. Like, just normal tools, everything's too heavy. Cutlery's too heavy. And I started switching out all the dishes and glasses to plastic deck dishes and glasses, and switching pots and pans to lighter, cheap ones, and buying a little stick vacuum because I couldn't manage. And I think that was a hit to the nervous system from the grief, but affecting your actual physical nervous system, right? And then, just trying to carry on. And then, 7 years ago, it was those medication withdrawals were like getting hit by a train. Anyways, it's interesting when you realize what the nervous system really is about. I don't say this, as in a really horrific way, but the medical system can harm your nervous system in many, many different ways, from surgery, from medications, medical procedures. They can seriously damage your nervous system and, change your entire life. And I've been injured again and again. Anyways, the camera's gonna quit.